to do in a regular season. So it's good and it's not. It's good and bad. It's just how you take it. So if you approach it a good way, then you kind of forget about everything bad that's happened.
For you, was rehab harder than basketball?
Nah, rehab was pretty light. I feel like his rehab's crazy.
Yeah, that's what he says.
My rehab wasn't.
How far are you from?
I mean, it didn't really. You don't have to do all that bending stuff, you know, like he has to do. My scar tissue is not like his scar tissue.
When he was talking, it sounded like you had to be more dedicated in rehab than you do basketball, even if you're going to 3 or 4 hours every day.
For sure. If you don't, then you get stiff.
What does that say?
So you gotta always he's always hooked up to some little board to make sure his legs bending the other way so it doesn't get stiff. And you gotta watch, like when he walks, like not to just keep it bent or keep it straight the whole time. When you walk, you gotta bend it like normal and try to get back to normal tendencies.
Thanks, Willie. Appreciate it.
What can Alex's role be throughout this whole postseason for this team?
To be a leader still. Just you gotta do it in a vocal way.
Willie, earlier in the season, I remember you saying it was kind of crazy, the idea that y'all wouldn't lose a game. I mean, that last year, you're like to the freshmen, you really thought we weren't going to lose? And I mean, now you are to the point where there seems like a realistic chance of that. I mean, is that crazy? You know how hard it is the last 2 years, I mean, to win every game. I mean, you think about that, like, wow, we've won every game. Like,
I try not to think about it.
Yeah.
I just try to, live the moment. And hopefully if it happens, like I look back at it and it's like, dang, like we really, went 40-0. But I mean, right now I'm just trying to, get better and make sure everybody else is on the same page so we win.
You're a young guy. On that vein, how much before you got to Kentucky were you aware of Kentucky history, like other great teams that were unbelievable? And are you aware of that? And have you ever had any attempt to compare yourself to any of these other teams?
I was not a history guru like that. I couldn't tell you anything for real about any team. Just end up playing the game.
To this point, I mean, you guys are being compared to the greatest Kentucky teams ever. Have you been just through hearing about it, learned more about that? Like, do you know what can you name some other great Kentucky teams right now?
No.
You know what years they won, last won championships and that kind of thing?
Couldn't tell you off
What about, do you have
the
like
rip.
a mentor, like, I don't know, Tony Dokes came in, when his jersey got retired, like, is there a former player that's kind of came back and talked to you all ever that you, like, thought of highly, I guess?
There's a couple guys, like Derek Anderson comes back, Sam Bowie. He was in our practices a few times. Just them kind of guys are always around.
Thank you.